Edward was often beaten by his wife, and he lived that kind of life for 29 years. Edward had long since stopped resisting. Every time his wife raises an empty coffee cup, Edward immediately stood up and made hot coffee. For him, for Grace, Edward's attention had become a habit. He felt that however he treated Edward, Edward would never leave her. Edward is a high school teacher. Only at school can he smile sincerely. Go home was the most painful part of her day, and Edward wasn't the only one who felt that way. Their son, Jimmy, also felt depressed by his mother who likes to control. At every family gathering, only Grace kept talking, while Edward and Jimmy sat silently. This situation continued until their 29th wedding anniversary. Grace was expecting a surprise. But what did Edward give me? It is precisely a shock. He filed a divorce request. At first, Grace thought Edward was joking. But when Edward looked directly into her eyes, and with a very serious voice, he said he had fallen in love with someone else, Grace realized that it wasn't a joke. Grace is still trying to show her dominance. But this time, Edward no longer wanted to survive. He immediately packed his stuff, called her boyfriend, and in just a few minutes, the woman came to get him. After Edward left, only then did Grace realize how important Edward in his life. He felt as if Edward still lived in the house. He even asked Jimmy to persuade his father to come back. But Jimmy refused. He knows that leaving his father was the right decision. Maybe his dad should have gone way more. Early Grace did not expect at all that his own son would also keep a distance from him. That's when he began to reflect on himself. Maybe there was something he did wrong. He adopted a dog and named it Edward. It trains the dog to be fully obedient. Watching her mother slowly transform, Jimmy finally calmed down. On the day the divorce documents were signed, Grace was still hoping that Edward would change his mind. But when he learned that Edward has left all his property, he also understands Edward will never come back. He prefers to leave everything, then live with him. One more day later, Grace started working at a relief service where he listens to people's emotional problems while listening to other people's life stories. Slowly, he also began to heal his own wounds. One day he went to Edward's new house. He wanted to see if Edward was really happy without him. As soon as he entered, Edward panicked. He thought Grace had come to hit him again. Right then and there, Edward's girlfriend came out of the kitchen. Once you see him, Grace froze silent. All this time, Grace thought Edward's new relationship are just excuses to run away from marriage. But at the time, truth revealed before he gave up the desire to bring Edward. Come back slowly. He learns to live alone, and Edward finally no longer needs to take a beating. And eventually he found someone who can make coffee for him.